Here we go, traveling on live land. We're on live land.
Are we live?
Well, we're going to be in a second. I think we're on live. There's sort of a delay because of the commercial.
A bit of a lull.
Look, I guess we're on. Hi, folks. How are you?
Happy
Welcome.
Friday.
Friday Night Live.
Like your shirt.
Thank you very much.
We matched, but I didn't kind of wear quite this.
But see, the logo is kind of on your side.
Oh,
see, if you
look
did this, look at
Oh my
this.
God, look at so hang on just a wait. I'll just be like this. Oh, how's that? It works.
That's pretty good. That's
It
pretty
works.
good.
I just
Hi,
put it
everybody.
like this.
I just came on live to announce that Peter Gabriel's new album, according to Manu Cachet, his drummer since Jerry Murata exited in the 80s, has said basically they're doing a tour in Europe in 2023, and they will be supporting an album, which means the album is coming out. That's good news. In other news this week, we have Jimmy Page saying they were approached to do a ABBA sort of thing. Remember that kind of hologram thing?
Mm-hmm.
But he and Robert Plant and John Paul Jones couldn't agree on anything. And they've been having problems agreeing on stuff. Oh, look, you could see up there that here it's very, well, the sun is going down here. But,
Melody R says, hey again. Hi, Melody.
Melody, I showed the pictures that you sent of your son to Shannon.
So sweet.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
for
sharing.
setting this. Very thoughtful.
And look, the dog's in the shot over there.
Rick says, greetings from Ohio. Start smashing that like button. Thank you, Rick.
Aw, thanks,
Hi,
Rick.
Dwayne. Greetings from Edmonton, Alberta.
Oh, I didn't bring the microphone. I didn't plug in the mic. Hold on. Shannon, you got to talk to them. I'm going to go get the microphone. I completely forgot.
Well, here we are trying to make sure we've got everything on hand. And then, of course, we go ahead and forget that.
Forget the microphone.
Brett says, hello from Chicago. Darren, John, and Shannon, I viewed past episodes I missed, including your 2021 Halloween special. You both could have easily been shoo-ins to play Gomez and Morticia in the 1991 Addams Family film. You know, that's funny. We have certain Halloween outfits that we circulate all the time, and every year we take one and we kind of mix it up a little bit. But I can see where you're going there, Darren. Glenn says, hello from Baton Rouge. Noah says, hey, John, what's up from Richmond Hill, Ontario? Chris says, hello from Connecticut. Melody says, thank you for liking the photos. Of course, Melody, thank you so much for sending them to us.
Yeah.
Catherine says, hello from Washington. John, hi from Connecticut.
Wow.
Hey, it's great to see a lot of people on tonight. We're happy
Good.
to have you join us.
The audio source has changed.
Glenn says, hello and good day. Ligma says, why didn't you ask Jeff Baxter if he was joining the Doobie Brothers 52nd tour? Even if he would have said no, it would have been cool to hear it.
Because we ran out of time. I had tons and tons of questions to ask him, and a lot of you asked me, and I'm supposed to get another interview with him, by the way. So we'll, if we circle back, because a lot of times where they say, yo, you can talk to him again, it doesn't happen. Not anybody's fault, it's just a tour. It's like the Ann Wilson thing. I don't know what happened with Ann Wilson. That still irks me a little bit, but I'm sure there's a reason for it, and I love Ann Wilson. So.
David piped in, what is blocked out of the Gilmour interview?
It's just a TV. It's a TV in the background because of copyright. I wanted Chase to do something like just a spec, a PNG spec that it didn't look so ominous. So we can't have a TV playing in the background. This is okay because this is our channel.
But if we had anything else, we would definitely
He had a
get
sports
flagged.
channel happening in the background.
Oh, would have been flagged for sure.
Would have been flagged. We wouldn't have been able to make 1 cent off the video.
Noah says, at Brett Parsons, where in Chicago?
What?
Oh, talking to someone amongst ourselves here. Sorry.
That happens.
Hello from England, UK. I love it that you guys are busy talking to each other.
That's kind of nice. If you guys can make some friends, that's cool. By the way, I've got another interview coming out with who do we got? An interview with Fee Waybill next week, and another one with an album release information that I can't tell you, but it's big. It's big. I've heard I'm one of 10 people on the planet who are privy to this information. Now, if I told you this, then they would say, we can't trust that John Beaudin guy anymore. So I can't tell you. But I tell you that we'll make an announcement next week, and it'll be good news. It'll be and it'll come with an interview. Richie Fiore, we're getting another interview with him. That's not connected. That's another thing. And a lot of interviews in the works, which is as I'm not going to retire. People went nuts last time when I said, "Oh, in 3 years I'm going to stop doing interviews." I probably won't, but I'll be more picky and more discerning with my interviews, starting in maybe 3 years.
Gennaro, bonjour from Montreal, Quebec.
Bonjour. Comment ça va? Ça va bien?
Surfer Boy, good evening, John and Shannon from Boston. Great interview with Gilbert O'Sullivan.
Yeah, it was. I knew the interview, because it's not rock necessarily, wouldn't, and those kind of interviews don't usually do as well on our channel. But I'm so glad I talked to Gilbert O'Sullivan. He was such a nice man. He was exactly, and I've watched interviews with him. Shannon always laughs because if I haven't talked to someone and I'm doing an interview, she'll go, "You're just getting a feel for the guy, aren't you?" I said, "Yeah, I always want to know who I'm going to interview. I want to know what they're like."
So yes, definitely keep hitting that like button. I'm going to chime in every now and then and say that as well, because we always appreciate having that response too.
If anyone knows what the Nova Scotia in Canada looks like, it's this long province like this. It kind of looks like if you chopped Florida off of...
Or are you going to say it was on our front lawn today?
It's on our front lawn. What I'm doing is have you guys ever done this patched? We've got these kind of like short little weeds that never grow higher than this. I don't know what kind of weeds they are. There's probably a good name for them.
Annoying weeds.
But you can't, it's hard to kill them. So, and I have to be careful with killing bees, because if you do weed control stuff, the strong stuff, like Roundup or anything like that, it'll kill the bees. The bees will go on the flowers and they'll die. So I'm digging this out all this week, and then I looked at it. I'm just following the trail of these weeds. I'm going, oh, that's either Florida or Nova Scotia. That's what it looks like. And some of the neighbors noticed too. I'm going, wasn't planning it that way.
So he's basically taking out all this sort of clay-like soil.
It's clay.
It is, literally, and picking it up. And of course, the highlight was putting it all in green compost bags at the front of our driveway, and trying to basically debate whether the guy's going to take it all.
He took it all.
There had to have been like 25 bags.
Took it all.
It was a ton of stuff.
Are we still back? Oh, I'm backwards still. Wait a minute. There's got to be a way of doing this. How come I'm backwards? Scene. Hold on. Let me see. Duplicate. I don't know how to do that. There's got to be a way to do it. I don't know how to do it though. I'm sorry, guys. Next time I come on, I promise I'll switch it. It's kind of kooky that I'm backwards.
Everybody's sort of amongst talking about themselves.
That's fine. Someone was asking last week, and you can't tell on this light as much, but I look like Johnny Mathis next to Shannon most days. In the summertime, I walk an awful lot. That's why people say, "Oh my God, you're looking thinner." I'm like this every summer. I walk and walk. Yesterday, how many steps did I take?
Probably about 18,000.
18,000. And I'm working on the lawn, and I'm working nonstop. And we're trying to work ahead. In the summertime, we work ahead so that we can travel a little bit. We don't do lavish trips because we can't afford it. But we, since we're in the East now, we want to go. We want to visit Boston. I've never been to New York. I want to go there. We want to go to Prince Edward Island again, Nova Scotia. And next year, maybe not this year, we'll go to Newfoundland. It's not Newfoundland. It's Newfoundland.
Rock Child of the 60s. Good evening, folks. Keith says, congratulations on bagging the Gil Moore interview. I'm loving it. El Terrifico.
Thank you.
Still backwards. Try switching seats.
That's not going to work. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe default scene. Wait a minute. What can I do here?
Rick says if you click right on the source or scene, there might be an option to transform, and under that you could possibly flip it. Maybe.
Scene. Default scene, lock current scene, duplicate current scene, new empty scene, new scene window. No. Sorry about that, guys. Window, hold on.
Hike with Mike says, hey, I pull my weeds, never use chemicals when he's out there doing his lawn work. Leica says, hi, you guys make such a beautiful couple. Your super chat isn't working for some reason. Would love if you could interview Peter Beckett or David.
Where?
David.
Oh, David Pack.
Yeah, I absolutely adore your interviews. I'm sorry I don't have my glasses.
I've met both of them. Peter Beckett, we interviewed. He's on our channel. If you look up Rock History Music, Peter Beckett, it's on there. For David Pack, I was co-chair of the Canadian Smooth Jazz Awards for 5-6 years. And it was weird because it was near the end of me wanting to get involved in smooth jazz. And I made a lot of money in smooth jazz. It started with me doing the NAC format, New Adult Contemporary. And then, unfortunately, that format turned into smooth jazz. And I liked contemporary jazz. Smooth jazz, not as much. But then I started becoming known as Mr. Smooth Jazz. I remember going, I have to get off this train. And it's no disrespect, because some of the smooth jazzers are some of the greatest musicians out there. They're not playing the kooky stuff they could play, but they're trying to follow a format and trying to make a living. We met a lot of them, hung out with lots of them. And then one of the years we were there, I'm not sure if you were there that year, I was in Toronto, and we were meeting all the artists, and being co-chair, you have access to everything because you're one of the bosses. So David Pack came in, and he was late, but he wasn't late for the show. He was late for the reception. And he came into the restaurant. We were all there, and like I said, he looked just a little ragged, but still a damn good looking guy, I must say. And I went, "Hey, David, John Beaudin, co-chair of the Jazz Awards." And he looked at me like I had leprosy, and I'm not sure why. And I think he had a file running in his head, because David Pack is just known as a pretty good guy, right? And he said, "Hey, man, nice to meet you." And then he kind of looked around, picked his bag, and left. So he never really talked to anybody except me. And I didn't get a chance to circle back and talk to him again. But he performed that year, and we gave George Benson a Lifetime Achievement Award. I think a lot of you guys have seen my picture with George. I interviewed George Benson. I can't find the interview, but I've got it at someplace. And that's where I met him. That was the extent of me meeting him. I interviewed Burley Drummond, speaking of Ambrosia. Their drummer, he's still with Ambrosia. He's keeping it going, him and his wife.
David Smith, hello to the both of you. John, have you heard the new release from Anvil entitled Impact is Imminent?
I haven't, no.
19 and counting after 40 years.
Wow. No, I haven't. I should check it out.
Noah says, I'm excited to hear your future interviews.
Thank you.
Chris says, I am playing some early Def Leppard.
Oh, cool. I've said it before. I wasn't the greatest Def Leppard fan, but at the same time, my brother is. Charles is a big Def Leppard fan. And but I'm finding myself going back and listening to albums that I haven't listened to in, like, first two Yes albums. I way back when started listening to that, and it's just you don't have time to listen to everything, so you got to go back to listen to this stuff. Shannon will come downstairs. Oh, what are you listening to now? I'm going. I said, this is a band that I'll say things like, this is an album like early Stooges stuff that I haven't heard since, when I was a kid.
Leica says, I met David Pack in 2014. He came to play in Manila. I'm from the Philippines.
Oh, cool.
I'm a flight attendant and had David Pack in my section all to myself for 16 hours nonstop.
Oh my
LOL.
God. We lived in a very Filipino area in Calgary. There were a lot of Filipino families there. And I remember talking to one of the family. They were telling me about the foods that we're not familiar with. That because you surround yourself with a new culture. One of the greatest things about it is, just getting to know a different culture is very exciting. But the food, So it was a nice neighborhood. It's very quiet, and we like that.
Boomer's asking, do most working British classic rockers live in the U.S.? Or is it a financial thing?
No, I don't think so. I've never really paid attention to that. That would be a good video, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be a good video you'd have to do some digging. These days, when we used to do our heavy, and Shannon did a lot of that, and David, what's his name? Kevin Close. No, Jason Close. Sorry, Jason. He used to write for us, and he'd do these elaborate things, and Shannon would, and then we'd put one up, and we'd get 500,000 hits. We'd go, well, that's It's well produced. Chase would put them together, and sometimes I would put them together. And we go, see, you do a lot of work and you get 500,000 hits. And the next one had 600,000 hits. And we went, wow, that's gone viral. It's not crazy viral, but for us, that's pretty good. And then the next one we get 100,000 hits. We go, okay, in the same series. And then 20,000, and it kept going down. We go, oh, okay, so that we've hit our peak. But it's strange. We put them up, and immediately we'd have within a minute, we'd have 100 hits, and we go, wow, and then we'd refresh, and you go, oh my God, we have 500 hits. It's a nice feeling, but it doesn't happen very often, unless you advertise. You know, a lot of YouTubers who do what I do, they piggyback on other. I know we should do it, and everyone does it, where you go, okay, I want my ads to show up around the Professor of Rock or Rick Beato or something, right? You want them because they all like the same thing, but we haven't done that.
Gennaro says, George Benson is my spiritual brother.
Oh, cool.
Darren says, I read an interview in the newest vintage guitar magazine with Larry Carlton. He wants to scale back on touring at 75 and do more fishing and spend time with family.
Oh, cool. Oh, you're a JW? Because he's JW. He talked about, I was told, and I'm always interested in different religions of the world. I was told by his old cohort from CTI Records, she worked with him then, if you get George and he seems like he's getting tired at the end of the interview, talk about his spirituality. Talk about him being a Jehovah's Witness. And then you'll have him and maybe you can ask a few more questions. And it's exactly what happened. He just lit up because everyone is interested in talking about their spirituality, whether they have it or not, or the lack thereof. And he was just really, really charming. I said, why is George Benson a Jehovah's Witness? I said, no judgment. I just want to know. I ask a lot of people who are deeply spiritual that question. He said, oh, no. He says, okay. He says, because I know what my fellow man who is involved in the church is thinking today. That's what he said. And he elaborated a little bit, but I wasn't sure what that meant. But he was just the most charming man. Just very classy.
Brandon says, good morning, folks. Thanks for sharing the Peter Gabriel news. Best news to wake up and see.
Yeah, it's big news. You know, it's been 20 years. 20 years since the last album. That's crazy. Of new original material. He's released projects since then.
James says, greetings from Dogtown Road. Shannon,
hey,
John, hope everyone is doing well.
But we're always wanting to visit our friend who's from Riverview, who works at Sleep Country. And on Saturdays, we're always so jam-packed with things. Crazy things. I wonder if he's on tonight.
I don't think so.
It's still light out. Look at the window.
John, are you speaking of Burley Drummond? Do you know he also fills in for bands player
at America? Yeah, Burley Drummond. Yeah. I interviewed him, and I never put the interview up because it ended up going on a hard drive that died. We had maybe 16 interviews on there. I almost cried. And then all of a sudden, one day it worked, and I went, okay, I'm not going to overheat this hard drive. And the thing to do, not for all hard drives, but I looked it up and I went, I'm just going to basically go one track at a time, one interview at a time, let it not overheat. And I was able to get all the interviews off, and the hard drive still works, but I wouldn't dare put anything on it. So I've got to put that up. I'm just so busy with my new interviews. It's hard for me because I have a closet full of interviews to basically get stuff done. It's crazy.
Ronnie says Steve Marriott wanted Peter Frampton to join the Small Faces.
Yeah.
And D. Gunther, any news on Tease rebooting again? COVID impacted their return. Would love to see them on tour.
They just did a show a little while ago, and then they were supposed to go to Japan. I think Japan. Someone just told me, and then something happened. They couldn't go again. Or some other, I'm not sure where it was. Someone told me in passing. But they're still going. They just did a show. I don't know if I'd interview them again because I already have. And right now I'm in the process of getting For any Canadians, I interviewed Fred Penner, who's a children's entertainer, who was just a spiritual, just connected guy. If I lived next door to Fred Penner, I'd be at his house every day. We really connected well. And I've interviewed the Clapton people are coming up soon because we're really pushing the Canadian channel. I know I've been promising that for a while. The Stampeders, Rich Dodson's the only guy we haven't talked to. They're not touring in a few weeks, so I'm trying to get him. I got Ronnie King and Kimball Meyer, who's Kim Burley. We've got a lot of Canadians. We've got old interviews with Doug Bennett, Doug and the Slugs, who passed away quite a few years ago. I hung out with him a little bit. I didn't really know him. He's a hard guy to get to know. But a lot of 80s interviews we want to put up because we're doing a large multi-part, the history of Canadian music. And we want to do that with also the history of American music. We've got so many, because 85%, and it changes all the time, of the people who watch this channel are American. And that's why we don't put unknown Canadians on this, because why would we do that? We don't want to alienate our rock history music audience, which is mostly American for that part.
William says, nice to see a great looking couple tonight. Thank you. Quarantine Dragon fan Tim, what do you think of Chicago's new song, If This Is Goodbye? Also, you think it's a song telling us they're saying goodbye and retirement is soon?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that. I think it's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Noah says, I've also met Fred Penner. Nice guy.
Spiritual dude. Like, he got into meditation, lost his sister who had Down syndrome. I think she was 8 or 12. I know it was an even number. Pardon my memory. And it just changed the trajectory of his life. He just worked with teenagers who were having trouble in life, and it led to music, and his parents were into music, and what a story. It's just a wonderful story. Such a nice guy.
Time says, good evening. We're under a tropical storm warning here in South Florida.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Oh, we did see it this morning. They were talking about it this morning on the Today Show. Yeah.
Rick May says, 20 years since Peter Gabriel's last album. Wow. He tied Steely Dan's Gap, 1980, Gaucho, followed by 2002 Against Nature. Hope Gabriel's new album will be worth the wait.
Two Against Nature was good. And the title song is so... It's like it's just kind of a zany song before they get into the groove. I played... Two Against Nature was a song that I put on. We were applying with Chum in the Chum Company. I worked for Chum, which turned into CTV, which turned into Bell Media, and I'm still working for them. I started working for them in 1990, and they asked me to come over to Vancouver from Edmonton to basically help them start an NAC format. Back then, it was still NAC. It wasn't smooth jazz, which is what I liked. So we were at one point applying. We ended up buying a station, but at one point we were applying for a new license. And I put, for the CRTC, who are the FCC of Canada, I put on Two Against Nature in the mixtape. And we played some of it, and I remember some of the panel were looking and we're going, what the hell? This is not smooth jazz. Because it's a little out there. But I remember going, no, we should play songs like Two Against Nature. Great song. Great groove. Oh, love that song.
Ronnie says, I wish Gabriel had appeared on stage with Genesis on Final Concert.
But I know why he didn't, and I said that on the video. He didn't want it. It wasn't about him at that point. It was about this stage of Genesis. And I think some people would have said, oh, no, he's trying to steal the show. He couldn't have won. There was no winning if he won on stage. And I understand. I would have liked it too, but I understand why he didn't do it.
Catherine says, I'm going to see Howard Jones' concert on June 17th. I admire his keyboard and piano skills.
Yeah, no one is to blame. I love that song.
Dr. Vibe Show, hello from Toronto. Appreciate your interviews with Phil Gould.
Yeah.
The Gould brothers, Mike Lineup and Mark King is one of my favorite bands of all time.
Oh, Lindup, yeah. Yeah, he, it's strange. Years ago, I bought, and most of the autographs I have downstairs, I obtained or traded with other program directors when I was a program director. And the Level 42 one, as far as I remember, I think I bought that from eBay. I bought maybe 10 from eBay. And then it came back, and I remember the Gould brothers weren't on there, but Mark King was on there because he's the forever member of that band, right? The driving force with that band.
Rock child of the 60s. Okay, you guys have a seriously cute dog. Oh, I know. He loves going for walks. He actually had his
You're barefoot.
little collar on all day and absolutely loves hanging out by the door and going out like 3-4 times a day for big long walks.
There's a code in this house that when Shannon's barefoot a lot, and she's barefoot a lot, but usually if she's sitting on a couch, she would like that, and she'll put her foot on top, or her leg on top of me, and I mean, that means, give me a foot massage, please. When we went on our date in '97 when we met, back when we looked like we were the same age.
What?
We looked like we were the same age then. When we met, we walked half of the seawall on Stanley Park because we both lived in Vancouver.
And it was beautiful in Vancouver.
And she says, you know what? I'm not used to I haven't walked that much in about a month or something like that. I said, well, I do massage part-time because I was in radio, but I ended up being voice tracked, which means
So sign me up for massage anytime.
we always joked that we did everything on the first date. We didn't. She got a foot massage. And I remember going, you have really nice feet. She says, thanks, keep going. First date,
right.
She says, that's nice, keep going.
Darren says, John, do you have an appreciation?
That was foreshadowing. Go ahead.
Darren says, John, do you have an appreciation for jazz like Benny Goodman, big band swing era stuff?
Not the big band as much. I found myself, my mother-in-law and I took a road trip once where they were moving from the Okanagan in the interior of British Columbia to Calgary to be closer to us, but also just for medical reasons, not for her, for my father-in-law, her dad. And we found ourselves listening to the 40s channel and the 50s channel. But the 40s channel was very interesting. And my mother-in-law was telling me about a lot of older music. And of course, that's a lot of her era. She was born in 44?
Yes, 44.
Yeah. So the year before the war ended, like, wow. So, and when we were studying jazz and wondering how much traditional jazz we were going to present to our version of the FCC, the CRTC, they were going to go, oh, yeah, but this is not jazz. Smooth jazz is not jazz. It's pop jazz. It's crap jazz. Or they wouldn't have said that, and I wouldn't have said that either. But I thought they might have thought that. And then we thought, let's do some shows with traditional big band stuff on like Sunday nights or something like that to appease them. But they didn't even ask for it. They didn't see them. But I do appreciate it. The Ken Burns Jazz Special, sorry, Shannon. The Ken Burns Jazz Special I thought was amazing.
DWHO72, I remember Phil Collins worked on one of Peter's first solo albums. Peter wanted no cymbals.
Yeah, I didn't remember that. I know that Phil Alberg, who, speaking of the NAC format from the Windham Hill label, toured with Peter Gabriel, and Phil's got chops. I asked Tony Levin, I said, did you work with, and I forget what he told me. I don't know if they worked on the same albums or not, or they toured together. When did Tony Levin start playing with Peter Gabriel? Wasn't in the beginning, was it? I don't think so. I haven't looked in a long time. But anyway, Phil Alberg's on that first tour, and he had told me, and I've interviewed Phil. He's from, where is he? The Cypress Hills area of Montana, that kind of upper Montana. And he's like the craziest piano player in the world. But he's my favorite new age piano player. He's so good.
JD says, Shan and John, hi from Tasmania, Australia.
Hey.
Missed you both last weekend. Such is life, LOL. David said you should connect with Ken, I think it's pronounced Tobias, in St. John.
Ken Tobias.
Thank you. Doesn't perform anymore, but answers emails, does art.
He does really nice art. Oh yeah, I got to remember that. Ken Tobias. Give a little love. Dun, dun, dun.
Ronnie says, hey, enjoying the live video. I'm in Scotland. My sister lives in
Wow.
Canada. My sister lives in Canada, New Brunswick, Sackville, near Moncton.
Oh my God, that's where we are. We're in Moncton. Jeez, eh? It's, the internet.
Small world.
The internet's a small world now. We end up talking to people all over the world. We just love it. It means an awful lot. What's it? You guys super. Our super chat's
Thank
working.
you.
Our super chat's working.
Sorry, can only afford 20. I would love to give
you.
more, but flight attendant jobs don't pay much. But it's enough to buy you each a Tim Hortons coffee. Thanks, Leica. That's very sweet.
Appreciate
that.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
That's very sweet.
A lot of our the super chat money, like I said, is going to advertising. We're just we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, which we should be able to do in the next couple of months. Mm-hmm. I've actually contacted some of the publicists that we work with, and I've said, Bob, Frank, Lydia, listen, here's the deal. I never say, hey, I've helped you a lot. No, we're helping each other. It's never one side. But I said, is there anybody on your roster I could talk to that'll help us get there? And I've done that recently. Remember when you were getting Danica's haircut last week? I'm on my phone, just reaching out to all the publicists that I've talked to and said, give us some good stuff. And they've all been pretty good. They've been good. Still trying to get Bruce Horn. Does anybody know Bruce Hornsby's manager? I know him. I've emailed him, but I don't know. I don't know what's going on that I cannot get my third interview with Bruce Hornsby. It's not like I've done anything wrong. I interviewed him twice, once in person, and I don't understand. I mean, Ann Wilson, I think, ran out of time. That's another one that boggled me because she was talking to people with like 1,000 subscribers, and we're going to be at 100,000 soon. But maybe she just looks at it. This is the next person in line, and if she does, that's honorable. Of going, no, let's talk to this guy. He's got 100,000 subscribers. If she did that, but she's touring now. I think she's still touring. And Wilson, come on.
John S. says, any news on the release date for the Bachman and Bachman album?
Well, he had told me he wanted to do press in April, Randy Bachman, that he'd like to get him a Tal to do a joint interview together. I would have rather talked to them separately, so I could talk to Tal about his solo stuff and get more stuff from Randy for my Canadian special. But Randy gave me a lot, so.
David says, have you interviewed Alice Cooper? He's had a school for performing arts in Arizona.
No, I haven't. I'd like to. My friend Tommy Morrison schooled me with schooled me. Tommy's dead now. He passed away a few years ago, but he was the guy who got me into got Alice Cooper, Tim Curry's solo stuff. I do the rock. And a lot of other people, but we lost. If Tommy was alive, Tommy would be doing this kind of stuff with me.
Catherine says, I saw Phil Collins in the early 90s. It was a good show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, he was. I was listening to, I think I said last week, I was listening to his first 3 solo albums, as well as the first 3 Burton Cummings solo albums, and just wowed by the musicianship. And who did I talk to today? My brain's not working. Kurt Newman from the Beaudins. We were talking about just some of the great music that sometimes we miss. We forget to go back to, and then we go back to it and we go, I haven't heard this in 30 years. And you go, oh my God, I forgot how great this was. Because everyone's got albums that they loved, but I haven't heard in 30 years. It's just happens because life happens, babies, mortgages, houses, cars, gets in the way. And then you don't have as much time to listen to music.
Rockchild of the 60s says, hey, cover Johnny Depp's music career and you could easily get several thousands of new subscribers.
Oh, yeah, Johnny Depp. I chose not to get involved with that mess. That was such a mess. Everyone's asked me whose side did I take. I said, well, they're both got some major issues. I think they'd both be interesting to talk to. That's for sure. But I don't know. I didn't really pick a side. Yeah.
Well, Leica says, I used to do direct Manila to Halifax until Philippines Airlines stopped it. It was the only airline in the world who flew direct from Manila to Halifax.
Really?
You guys should visit the Philippines one day.
I would love to. Oh, my God.
Yes, and yes.
I would love to. Yeah. There was a friend of Arnel Pineda, who's, of course, the lead singer of Journey. He told me he used to be a really good friend of his, and he was Filipino, and he was letting me know about things that, I mean, I remember telling him, I says, you're doing the stereotypical thing, the fact that everyone says, Filipino are very friendly, which we found too, I find that it's interesting being in Atlantic, Canada, and coming from the friendliest people in our neighborhood in Calgary were always the Filipino people. You know, it's strange. We'd be walking and they knew our names, but it was a big city. They didn't have to do that. People in big cities don't do that. But I always found myself, like I said a while ago, we were always talking about food.
Catherine says, Bruce Hornsby, another great piano player.
Oh, he's just nutty. Last time I talked to him, his twins, who are now adults, he was practicing 7-8 hours a day. And it's crazy. And they became basketball stars, and I don't think they made the NBA or anything, but yeah, the twins were, geez, it's crazy when you think about it.
Boomer the Movie says, do you know a folk singer, Lenny Gallant?
Lenny Gallant, yeah.
PEI?
Yeah. I don't know him. No, I don't know him, but I know of him, yeah.
And El Terrifico says, this Ann Wilson situation is tearing you apart.
It's tearing me apart. I'm sad.
Wait.
I'm sad. I'm just so, I emailed my friend Eamon O'Neill, Eon Music. A lot of you guys follow, you got to follow. I've interviewed Eamon. And I said, you got Ann Wilson, good for you. Can we talk to each other about the people we interview? And he's probably my closest cohort that does what I do, that I talk to on a quasi kind of regular basis. I said, how long did it take for you to ask for Ann Wilson and to get Ann Wilson? He says, I don't know, about 2 weeks. I said, it's been a month and a half. And Eamon says, you didn't get Ann Wilson? He says, if anybody should get Ann Wilson, you should get Ann Wilson. I said, I know. What's going on? And I told him, I says, I don't think it's because I interviewed the Fisher brothers. I mean, I didn't, I just asked them questions, they answered them. And I don't think Ann's like that. I think Ann probably had a list of people that she had to interview, like I said a while ago. And then she just followed the list, and she didn't care how much subscribers they had. And I thought, well, if she did that, that's admirable, that she'd give the little guys a chance. Because most of the time I get interviews because we have a lot of subscribers. I'll be kicked to the top of the line, and I'm going, that's really nice. But then I stop and going, yeah, I was one of those little people once too. Mm-hmm. And it was hard to get a big interview like Ann Wilson. So Ann, hello. Oh, let me look at the camera. It's John Beaudin. I've reached out to you a few times. You'd be a good addition to our channel. You were always my favorite in heart. And if Shannon, I don't know, if Shannon got hit by a bus, I'd be coming to see you, Ann Wilson. I'd be coming to see you. Oh, you're married. Oh, damn, you're married. Oh, that's just...
I'd be coming personally to get that interview.
I love Ann Wilson. I love the woman. I just love her. I was so in love with Ann Wilson. I'm still in love with Ann Wilson. She's not jealous. She doesn't care. Shannon would say, if she'll have you, go for it.
Thank you, Rockchild of the 60s, a super chat for us. That was very thoughtful. Advertising funds or doggy treats, dog's choice. That is good.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much. That is very sweet.
Doggy treats.
I love your...
Oh, he's sleeping.
Rockchild of the 60s, I love your humor on here. Whenever you get on, I love your humor. Gotta tell you that.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Would you interview Eric Clapton, great guitar player?
I try not to let... I don't have a school now where I don't care what people think politically. That's not why I'm here. Does anybody want to hear me talk about politics? No. Why would you? No, that's not why people come to this channel. We have people on the left and the right on this channel, and I love y'all. That's fine. If you think the earth is flat, I know I say this a lot. I'm going to say you're freaking crazy. But we don't talk about that kind of stuff. And everyone, think about it. Everyone has that name. Shannon would say this. Shannon always said this. And remember I told you guys we were in our garage back in the days when we smoked, and that's years ago. And I only smoked for a year because I wanted to hang out with my wife. Anyway, she said, every one of those people have secrets. She's pointing at all the other houses across. She said, everyone, and some of those secrets, if we heard them, we'd probably go, oh, geez. And then she said, but those secrets are none of our business, short of if they kill someone. But everyone's got crazy sides. A lot of the times you meet someone who does crazy stuff, and it's isolated incidents. And after you learn pretty quickly if it isn't, that's basically them. They're drama oriented. The same comes with that kind of stuff when it comes to, everyone's got crazy political stuff. And luckily, that's not why we're here. So would I interview Eric Clapton? Yes, I would. I'm not going to reach out to Eric Clapton because he's talking to anyone who let's say, believes the things he believes because he wants to talk about that. And I don't want to talk about that. The truckers, the convoy, we didn't talk about that. Randy brought it up. Randy Backman brought it up. And I'm going, okay, well, he's got the floor right now. Go ahead and talk about it. I didn't erase it. I let it on the interview. So I think you'd all agree that's probably a better stance to take.
Patrick says, I'd love to see you interview Keith Scott from Bryan Adams' band.
I tried to get Bryan Adams. I contacted his management in Vancouver. And, most major management companies, they'll at least get back to you. Remember I told you, freaking Robert Plant's manager got back to me in like 10 minutes or whatever it was. Ask me tomorrow, I'll say 20. But he got right back to me. He says, Robert's not doing interviews right now. I went, wow. I said, well, thanks for getting back to me. Jeez, Robert Plant.
Thank you so much for those who've donated to our channel.
Thank you.
Leica says, for the super chat, by the way, it doesn't work for iPhone, but just for Android. So,
really?
Just to let you know. Thank you for that, by the way.
I wonder why that is.
We can look into that later.
I've got to look into that.
Fraser J, hey guys, hope you're both okay. Hi Fraser. John, great change from the Genesis t-shirt. Do you think that you'll ever get to interview David Foster?
Oh, I gotta, he talks to people. I gotta interview David Foster. By the way, I wear the Genesis t-shirt because it's the most comfortable t-shirt. It's falling apart. It's the most comfortable t-shirt I have. I mean, it's not falling apart, but it's just it's acrylic.
And what do I say? You've got so many shirts, so many t-shirts. You always come back to the same, there's two of them that he just migrates to. I thought, I'm gonna hide them.
I was walking outside.
I'm gonna hide them.
I was walking outside and the woman thought, it's because a lot of seniors in this neighborhood, and the woman thought I was religious.
What?
Yeah, well, it's from Genesis to Revelations, right?
Oh.
Which, by the way, was a Genesis album anyway. She says, oh, it's a Genesis guy. She says, well, are you religious or something? I says, religious. And it caught me off guard. I was, oh, yeah.
Genesis.
Oh. Yeah. And I explained it to her, and I remember she looked at me like she didn't know what I was talking about. She's such a sweet lady. She walks all the time. And she always so friendly. Yeah.
That's right. Like with me, when you said that one lovely lady said that I was out there doing gardening and I looked like I was going to the office.
She said, oh, yeah, I've seen your wife out there. She's very pretty, but she always looks like she's ready to go to the office as she's on her all fours gardening. I'm going, yeah, that'd be my wife. That'd be my wife.
I think I'm actually dressed down.
Some guy last week said, it was kind of cute. I had to screen cap it and send it to Shannon on the comments of our last chat. He said, what did he say? I don't know how did you end up roping a 25-year-old?
Marrying someone who's 25. That was very sweet, by the way. I thought that was very cute.
Where's my teeth?
DJ John, you're okay. We're not getting any younger. Can you give us 3 things you are afraid to face in life?
Oh, wow.
We are not getting any younger. This is from JD. Can you give us 3 things you are afraid to face in life?
That's like a heavy, but great question. Well, in life, death.
Yeah.
Illness. Right. And we worry about our daughter a lot. She's over there. She's autistic. And things in life, I have we have, how old is our son? I just decided to do I have a son, even though my wife's right beside me.
You can do 18.
Yeah. And we worry about him, even though he's a great drummer, as a lot of you know. He was a child prodigy drummer. Decided he didn't want to do that at that level.
Such a great kid, so much compassion.
Crazy.
Just much wiser than his age in a lot of ways. And of course, and also very much 18. But
he's pretty wise. He's a deep guy. And you'll run into people who are in their mid-20s and you'll go, and he's not judgmental in that way, but he'll always say things like, nice person. I'm not sure how much we have in common. And I'll press him. I'll go, what do you mean? He said, well, I said, because he's a big goof as well, but he's balanced in that way. And I always think Chase is going to date an older woman because of how deep he is. And, he likes to be, but he's seen us. I like to be challenged. My ex-wife, Lynn, who's a good friend of Shannon's, was a redhead, and she had fire, not just here. She had fire. She challenged me all the time. The other woman I lived with, Andrea, she had fire. She challenged me all the time. Shannon's the same way. She's always challenging me. And the three women I've lived with, who are the three most important people in my life, now, of course, Shannon by a long shot is more important, are like that. And Chase wants that. Chase wants someone who's going to challenge him and tell him that's full of crap. Like, he needs that, he says.
So you circle back around the three things then, all in all.
Those are
You said health, death, and the well-being of your kids.
Yeah, what are yours?
Same thing.
Oh, that's just too easy. What were yours? Because when I talk to artists, a lot of them will say things like, I said, well, you've heard me say this over and over again in interviews. Well, you can't cheat the hangman, which is, the Patrick Simmons song from, I think, Stampede, if I remember. And they'll go, most of them will go, yeah, I'm watching the clock, And I think for me, it's also the thing of, I'm starting to look at, and I've told Shannon this a lot, I'm starting to look at, I'm going, what if this is it? Like, what's nothing? What if, Because I I love theology, and I've got multiple books on different religions, and I'm always interested in what people follow. I choose not to follow that necessarily because I'm not feeling it. But I go, what if there's nothing? What if, this is it? Which I remember Rick Emmett sobered me up a little bit. Not because he's right or wrong. I don't know. He doesn't know. But he said, no, this is it. There's nothing else after this.
If I can jump in here again, and again, JD, that was a great question. Mm-hmm. I think another one, not necessarily that you're afraid to face, but just always wanting to make sure in your life you've reached your full potential. Like, that's something for myself. I mean, I've done many different things in my life and career moves, but always wanting to kind of reach to my full potential.
She's got grit.
And it doesn't always mean that it's going to just be in this certain job, but as you get older, you start to compartmentalize, and you have things that are more important than other things. And as you get older, what's really important starts to change. It really does. Your focus is what changes, right?
Yeah.
So, definitely health is big, right? And of course having your, being intact mentally, that's
man, if you don't have your mind.
Exactly. But also too, being able to reach your full potential. And of course your kids, that's another thing from myself that I'd say.
But the thing that Shannon's taught me more than anything is, like I said, grit. If she has a problem, not that she won't worry about it. She's like a normal person in that way, mm-hmm. But she always finds a solution as fast as she can. And I'm going to go, I have to phone this person? I'll phone them on Wednesday, next week. And I hate talking on the phone. I used to hate doing interviews on the phone because I couldn't see the person. You got grit, girl.
Thank you. Hi, John and Shan in chat. That's a DJH record hound.
Hi.
Did you ever Google Moonquake? The late Jack August sang in Guitarist band.
Oh, Pagliero's band.
Sorry, pardon me.
Let me screen cap that. Let me take that. That's what I should do. No, I haven't, but will. So Michel Pagliaro? Yeah, Pagliero's such a great artist. I should interview him. Greg Godovitz, the guy from Godot for Canadian fans, knows him. I should get a hold of him for the history of Canadian music. I'm going to do that one, and I'm going to do the history of just American music. And I might just do, someone said, why don't you just do the history of different states? And I went, I kind of like to do that. And I'd visit the states, that'd be cool. Because all the western states, well, the far western states I've visited. Now we're in the east, we're going to visit the eastern states.
Cool. Steven says, hey, kids from San Francisco again. We've got to quit meeting like this. Hi, Steven. Thank you for joining us again. Hike with Mike. Ever interview Gowan of Strange Animal fame?
Oh, Gowan.
Gowan or Corey Hart.
No, I tried for Corey Hart with the last go around. They asked me, what's it for? Because in my signature of my email, I got a super chat from Leica.
We have...
It hasn't come up yet. There it is.
You bet. She said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
have to put my glasses on here. I wish the world had more positive people like both of you. You both seem like such amazing people. I'm sure most will agree that you both are like the kind of friends that everyone would dream of having.
Aw, thanks.
Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. Thank you.
Thanks. We haven't made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
We made a lot of neighbor friends, and we've got some great neighbors up the road in both sides of us, and they're all really, really cool. But we haven't done stuff with them yet.
Yeah, but it's been since we moved to this part of the country, people have been so incredibly friendly. We've been really fortunate because when you do move to a new area, you're never sure.
You never know what you're going to get.
And we've just been really super fortunate.
We told each other before we moved here, no matter where we are, we're going to go out and we're going to get to know all the neighbors, no matter what. Like in Calgary, we knew all the neighbors, and it's always pays off when you do. So thanks.
Pulsar Lights. I do not fear death. I have been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. Mark Twain.
Oh my God! Yeah. Oh, Mark Twain. There you go. That is beautiful.
Gennaro says the two biggest rules for him is love Jehovah and love your neighbor.
Oh, thank you.
Fraser J says, a silly question, but how big is your smart TV in the back wall? My cousin's smart TV fell off the wall today, and it was his new 4K.
Well, this is 4K. This is 4K. It's 75 inches. It actually looks small there, but our last one was 60, and Chase bought one downstairs that's 58. That's the one in the background of the interview. Sometimes you can see the outside reflected off it. And that's going to go on. That's going to go on. That won't go in sleep mode.
Surfer Boy says, as you get older, life goes by faster. So your focus and goals come with the more of a sense of urgency.
Well, your brain is processing time differently. It's just
That's
so strange.
well said. That's
it
really
is.
well
It
said.
is.
It's so true.
I'd like to. One of the things I wanted to do with the John Beaudin channel. I have a John Beaudin channel, and the only thing on there is Chase and I on a hill, watching a huge storm come, and Chase is like this high. And skunks coming towards our house when Shannon says, I wonder where they're going. And I put a big, well, where do you think they're going? They're going to our house.
Oh, skunks.
Oh, yeah, you hate skunks.
You know, we all have certain things that just, like for some people it's spiders, for some people it's snakes. I'd be curious to know if you have any phobias, like animal phobias. For me, it's skunks. I can't look at skunk. People say I can't. They slither across. that's for me. That just does me.
You can't help that. You have a visceral effect. Yeah, you can't.
Skunks. I just be curious to know what some of your
well, spiders and snakes, like the song says. I don't like spiders and snakes.
Whether it be reptile, whatever. I'd just be curious to know, and if anybody has a skunk phobia like myself, or am I like 1 in a million? I think I'm probably 1 in a million.
The Orkin guy knows her really well. I think the Orkin guy really liked you. I don't know.
Super nice. Shout out to him.
I think he thought you were super nice.
I don't like any kind
Wasn't
of
he
pest.
great?
He's
like a
amazing.
super Orkin guy.
He's amazing. I don't like any kind of. I mean, we live in the back and we've got this nice sort of green belt behind us, but I'm not big for ants that might have ants hills.
John, can you come and kill this thing? I don't know what it is. I went, how big is it? Oh, it's huge. And I'll go downstairs and it's this tiny little thing.
It just seems big. Probably because I have my big readers on and everything's amplified.
No.
So I see more.
Nope. That's not why. It's cute though. Shannon does everything, but there's certain things. Oh, itchy. There's certain things that she won't do. And in Calgary, it was always that she wouldn't do the yard work at all. And she's, I do everything in here. I'm not arguing. Don't do the yard. But now she's getting dirty in the front yard, just doing stuff and going. I didn't ask her to.
Gloves, sunscreen, a hat. I'm covered. But yes, I am out there and I'm trying to work it in flower beds out there. I planted some tulips last fall.
They're nice.
They actually came through. It looks pretty darn nice. I'm quite proud of myself. Anywho, DRMWVR, I'm here late, but how big of an influence in music would you rate the Hawk?
I think he was big, but again, the word that kept coming up, and it came up when I was talking to Greg Godovitz. The big thing was recruiter, and of great talent, and going to Dominic Triano, who played with the last two Guess Who albums, joined the James Gang when Joe Walsh left. Dominic passed away quite a few years ago, but his brother co-wrote a book on Dominic Triano, and Dominic, who was like the hottest guitar for quite a few years in Toronto, whether he was or not, he was certainly in that top echelon. He went to the boot camp of the Ronnie Hawkins boot camp sort of thing. That's what they used to call it, just to join the band, just to hang and jam with them. And it was a process. Some people have told me, well, Ronnie wasn't there. Of course, Ronnie wouldn't be there. And I'm going, what? Huh? But when needed, he was there. So he had a big, big influence. So when you considered every member of the band were in his band at one time or another, Levon Helm being probably the longest lasting one, but yeah.
Okay, Gennaro says amen to Leica's comment before. Fraser J, great comment from Leica. One of the main reasons I follow this lovely channel.
Thanks.
Thank you, Fraser. Surfer Boy said, did you find the move from West to East Coast a big adjustment? Yes, we did.
More for Shannon because I lived here in '79. I moved.
So we kind of came back to what, even though it's changed, but we've come back to what he knew. So it was, and I also thought it was a great opportunity for you to come back to your roots, because I know that he always wanted to, but he would never ask me to.
Too big of a move.
So when I just said, okay, you know what, we've always lived out west, it's your turn, let's do this. And it was quite a bit,
And she broke her foot in two places
before we started
really seriously packing.
Yeah, and I don't know how that happened because I'm not clumsy at all. I have no idea how that happened. Not a clue.
You're not really clumsy. I mean, you fell down the stairs 3 times at work. Each of your coworkers saved you. And she always has, I always tell her, I said, you got the most beautiful legs I've ever seen, but there's always a couple of bruises here and there.
I think I'm just maybe...
You got dancing legs.
I think I'm moving a little too fast, right? I have a lot, thinking of a lot. But
sometimes Shannon will be doing housework or something like that, and she'll turn around, she'll go, what? I'm just looking at you. She'll, oh, thank you. She always says, thank you, kind sir. She always says the same thing, thank you, kind sir. But it happens like 3-4 times a day. She'll turn around, she'll go, what? Did something in my, what's going on? I'm going, don't you, haven't you picking it up by now that I like my wife?
Rock Child the 60 says, John, you guys live in your mom's house, right? Anyone left around from your childhood still? We do not live in his mom is actually about an hour and 20 minutes away from us in Miramichi, so we're in Moncton.
Yeah.
But
my mom wouldn't let us live with her, and I wouldn't want to live with my mom. And it's nothing to do with my mom. My mom's great. My mom's still my mom. I mean, she's forgetting a few things here and there, but for the most part, when I talk, you know how it is when you talk to your parents when they're really old? She's 87. And then you kind of go, oh, just kind of a shade of the parent that I used to have. It's still my mom. It's strange. But she likes her privacy. And that wall that you guys have all seen with the emblems, of rock bands, that's there. And we're going to try in late summer, early fall to bring that here. Because if something suddenly happened to my mom, I wouldn't want to be caught with my pants down, having to take that wall out, and I wouldn't want a family to... It's a big wall of only decals and black light paint. In extra thick, what's it called? Not particle board, what's it called? The sheetrock. Yeah, so we think we can take it down without destroying it.
So, but anyone left around from your childhood still?
A few people. My best friend and I, we had a fairly major falling out a few years ago, and just moral things that I thought, I'm going, this has been going on a long time. You've got to make good on this stuff. He has a thing that he didn't want to tell the truth in a certain thing, and I kept wanting to say, you got to come clean on this. It's not any illegal thing, but you got to make good here. And he didn't want to do it, and it bothered me so much. I went, I need a little time away. So he was my best friend growing up, and we were close most of our lives. And one of these days, I'm sure we'll probably talk again. But he doesn't live here; he lives in Alberta. And the other people that are here, I'm not that close to. They were periphery friends. And But I know a lot of people from my high school, you know, that all of a sudden they all want to be my best friend now. I'll talk to them and go, you know, we never really talked in high school. Like, and they're going, oh, well, I know, but we're adults now. I'm going, yeah, sure. That's fine. And I like when they do that.
So we have, when I asked about what some people's phobias are.
Oh, yeah.
Surfer Boy said, I hate silverfish. They move too fast.
Oh, I hate silverfish.
I am with you on that.
Look at my body language.
Gennaro says, I hate skunks. I am with you, my friend. I'd rather not
she
watch
hates them.
I hate such a strong word, but I have a strong dislike. Melody sees ticks are my phobia. Melody, I am
Good
always
one.
checking the dog. I'm checking everybody for that too as well.
Lyme disease.
Audiophone Tube says bed bugs.
When your dad was on the tour of Canada, at one place, or was that bed bugs? Yeah, that was bed bugs. One of the places.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But you have to be. Yeah. Okay. Now you got me itching here.
There was a guy that he went on the tour of Canada with. They drove. How old was he when he did the tour of Canada? Right across country on a bike.
About 68.
68 years old. So he goes across country, and he was with a guy who had taken a vow not to kill a living thing, and he refused to go like this. He wouldn't do it. He just
did he get eaten alive by mosquitoes? Or
I think
flies?
I don't know. I'd have to ask your dad again. But he was just that was his vow. He wouldn't kill a living thing.
Eric D said.
Sorry, not her dad. The guy that was with your dad.
Eric D said, I used to have a pet skunk. She was super cool.
Oh my God. They seem like they make. I mean, listen. Was he descented? Like my friend. One of my very quick girlfriends, Marla. She had a ferret. It was descented. Didn't like me very much.
Eric Terrifico said, my biggest fear is Ann Wilson.
No, don't say bad things about Ann Wilson. I love Ann Wilson. Ann Wilson, I love you. She's wonderful. I think Ann Wilson was going to be my third wife. Something's going to happen. Shannon's going to find 3 20-year-olds and
honey,
take off. And then I'll contact Ann and says, Ann,
1 minute.
It's you and me. We should be together.
1 minute.
But I just want you to sing a lot.
Rock Child of the 60s. 3 years ago, I stepped on a baby rattlesnake. It wasn't just a phobia. I was completely terrified as they were. Oh, 6 baby rattlesnakes?
Yeah.
Wasn't a phobia. I was completely terrified as they were. They suffered from human phobias. Woo.
Oh my God. Okay, does anybody know this? When I was in Arizona, my friend Richard Carmen, who's an audiologist in Sedona, one of my favorite places, I'd go there every summer. And then we never got there, did we?
No.
God, something happened. We tried to get there when I met Shannon. So he had told me he just killed a rattlesnake in his front yard, and he had told me, he says, oh, watch the scorpions and the rattlesnakes because they're more potent when they're young. Does anyone know if that's true? I never really, I mean, I could Google that. But he had told me that. I'm going, what? He says, yes, watch the rattlesnakes and the scorpions when they're that young because they're really potent. I'm going, ew.
Okay, DGH Record Hound said apparently without the stink gland, a skunk could be a better pet than a cat.
Well, she doesn't like cats, so.
I'm gonna be.
Well, she doesn't. It's not. You're allergic to cats.
And our son is even more allergic to cats.
Really allergic to cats.
Tracy Diller said my biggest fear is my ex-wife. Surfer Boy says both of you have a great weekend. James says hope tomorrow finds life loving you. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
Gennaro says great comments tonight.
Danica, too loud.
And hi guys, all of your interviews. All of your interviews, who's been your favorite? Really fast, throw that in there.
I don't. Well, you and Danica have to. I could stay on for just a little bit longer. They have a game time they play, and Danica's strict to the book.
It's actually, we play Scrabble, and she loves it. So
yeah,
10 o'clock is her time for that. So.
I don't know. There's just been so many great interviews. I like talking to Steve Hackett a lot. I like Steve Hackett. I like Rick Emmett a lot. Steve Lukather. Luke is always incredibly entertaining. You know. He's got that devil may care, like he's got that kind of I won't suffer fools. If Steve doesn't like something, and he's told me he doesn't like something you do, he'll tell you. There's something incredibly refreshing about that, you know. So Lukather is probably one of the top ones. Steve Porcaro. Steve Porcaro is, I remember after a couple of interviews, Steve just phoned me up casually one day. We just talked for an hour and a half about stuff. Henry Gross. Henry Gross is good. He's the song Shannon. He sang Shannon to Shannon.
So sweet. Such a kind man.
He called me up and he says, well, I'm going to do it. Don't tell her, but he wasn't going to do it. And he says, I'm going to do it. So he sang Shannon to Shannon on a live stream, which was cute. He's a very, very, very nice man. He always says, love you, brother. Mark Farner is a great interview. Mark Farner is just a delightful human being. Just really, I'll get off this stream and I'll say, oh, why didn't I say this? Why didn't I say that person? Colin James, a Canadian, just a delight to talk to. Just really nice. Miles Goodwin was a highlight for me because Miles Goodwin of April Wine, like I said before, he's a little grumpy. I think he was drinking back then, but he's one of those guys too. He doesn't suffer fools and says it like it is. Miles Goodwin to me is like the greatest. He's my favorite Canadian performer of all. April Wine's my favorite band. So, will you give me hand signals?
No, I'm just giving Danica a hand signal here.
Oh, I thought you were going 3, like Wayne's World.
No.
2.
Mike says, glad to see you both tonight. Thank you all. Audio file says, hi, sweet puppy.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Melody says,
he's looking right at me.
Melody says, I'm itchy now after talking about all those phobias. I'm with you, Melody. And thanks everyone for being with us.
Guys, before you got to do the thing with Danica. Can I take you downstairs? Let me take you downstairs to show you the room with the albums on. Yeah, that might be really nice.
Of course, sure.
Yeah. What do I unhook? I'm going to unhook the microphone, and I'm going to take you.
Do you want to take this with you?
Yeah, actually, I'm going to take you downstairs to show you what I did downstairs. Guys, I have to unhook the microphone. Sorry, it's going to tell me I've got another audio source. Oh. Sorry. I did yard work and I'm very sore. There you go. Am I good? Yeah. I have to turn on the light.
I'll take care of all this.
Taking you downstairs.
Well, hello, sweet Danica.
So we don't look, by the way, we do not live in my mother's house. I'm not sure where, you might have thought that because, hold on. There. You might have thought that because I did a few streams from my mother's house. Maybe. I don't know. This is, we're going downstairs. This is the room where I do most of my interviews. It's really bright right now. I don't want to look at, there you go. This is the room with I'll just bring this over here. Sorry. I think that would be a good time to show you. This is, there's my Bruce Hornsby. See, I did talk to Bruce Hornsby. Oh, there you go. He autographed the first 4 albums, and then of course you guys know that I talked to Randy Meisner. He autographed that. Tom Johnston, Keith Knudsen, Pat Simmons, April Wine, Mike Rutherford, Eddie Money autographed that for me, the first album. This is the Andy Curran sent this to Chase. Oh, hold on, let me straighten out. Remember I told you this is Neil Peart's drumsticks. So he said, hello, Chase. Jeff Long from Long and McQuaid sent me a video of you playing Tom Sawyer. It was awesome. Please accept the set of Neil's actual sticks. Keep up the hard work. There you go. Let me see if I go back a little bit. America. Oh, shit. Sorry. John Beaudin swore. What the hell? That's not right. I'm really bad at this. There's America, Stand Back by April Wine, Bruce Hornsby's second album. What do we got? The Eagles, Glenn Frey, Don Henley, another April Wine, Billy Joel on top. We've got my friend bought her way into the '06 concert and got all 4 Led Zeppelins. Tony Levin, Peter Gabriel signed this. Level 42, the whole band. You can't see it, but Alan Parsons signed this. Another one with the 3 from the Doobie Brothers. April Wine again, Mike Rutherford, Foreigner, Lou Gramm, Mick Jones, Brad Delp, and Tom Scholes. You can't see it, it's in pencil.
This is Supertramp, the whole band with Roger Hodgson, Dewey Bunnell, and Jerry Beckley. That's the only one I don't think is real. A friend of mine sent me that. I think it's April Wine Again. This is one of my favorite new age bands. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. I'm trying to see. There you go. This is Checkfield, Ron Satterfield, John Archer, Elton John. I know that's real for sure. George Benson, he gave me that one. April Wine, Live in the Alamo Combo. I got that by myself. Elton John's Captain Fantastic. I got this one. James Taylor, Glenn Fry in Hotel California. Daryl Sturmer, Phil Collins, and Tony Banks. Oh, sorry about. There's more April Wine. Al Jarreau, signed there. And Terry Bozzio, signed that. So this is the room. When I'm doing my interviews, I usually go right to the end here. You guys would have noticed this. I'm usually right here. I'll read your comments in a second. As far into this wall as I can so that there's depth to the interview and because the ceiling looks good too. We had this whole place. Yeah, it's kind of neat. I'll read your comments in a second. So this is the stereo system. These albums are, most of those were rebought. There's a JBL speakers from the 80s, so they're not as good as L100s, which I'd love to have. Oh, this is Chase's autographed Toto thing. All the guys signed this, including David Hungate. And anyway, these are all the albums. April Wine's my favorite Canadian band, as you can tell. Ding, whole world's going crazy. I love this one. Oh, one more thing I'll show you. My father-in-law gave me this because the biggest video I ever had was the Van Halen video when Eddie passed away. But I've got some other ones here in the hallway. This is where my studio is down here. So they're lined up. I'm OCD in certain things. This is the only frame that doesn't work because it's different. But this Alan Parsons signed. The whole Elton John band signed. Nigel Olsson. Davey, Ray Cooper, Davey Johnstone, and Elton right in the middle. Alan Parsons, the entire April Wine band. Randy Bachman signed this for me. April Wine Again. Unfortunately, the newer version of Firefall, no disrespect, but the two singers didn't autograph it, though I've interviewed them. Elton John and the Canada-Russia team. Oops, where is it? The Canada-Russia team, including Tretiak, the Russian goalie. He looked at me. I got all these autographs. And this is the place where I do my show. As most of you know, people are always asking about this picture. Me and Bernie Prompt, my favorite player of all time. I was a goalie my entire life. My room, my second reel-to-reel, and there's me and Rick Emmett and Jesse Cook. They signed that. Me and George Benson. Another one with Randy Bachman. So this is basically our place. This is the home. This is like another bedroom over there. Chase's bedroom. He likes shoes, as you can see. And there's his kit. That's his kit. He's going to make it into the 7-piece that it was again. It's a Pearl Masters. It's beautiful. It's all maple. It's all made out of maple. His grandparents bought him this. It was not cheap. And there's my prized possession of all the things I own. My program director, Len Tucson, my first program director, I'll come over here with you guys, sold me it for $1,000, even though it's worth $10,000. It's very rare. It's a Studer. It's like the cream of the crop. Can't get better. Anyway, hi. Oh, this is really good lighting. Not. So I'm going to read some of your comments that I'm going to take off here. Take off like the hoser that I am. Oh, God. No, those are JBL speakers. From the 80s, or the two woofers are really strong. It's a little boomy for my taste. I'd like to get higher end speakers, but I can't afford them, right? So, okay. Let's see. Oops. I'm going to see some of your comments.
Can I? Yeah, The Stranger by Billy Joel. A very good friend of mine got me that one. He actually knows Billy Joel. Surf Boy, that's amazing. Leica, wow, John, that's amazing wall. Honky Chateau, cool. The only one that I know is not real. I mean, not that I know it's not real, because I was told, oh, Elton signed it after he got off stage. That's the biggest line for fake autographs he got, because I got a Mick Fleetwood like that, a Rumors Mick Fleetwood autograph, and it's just a freaking mess, so I didn't put it up. Sweet Collection, James, Melody, cool wall. Bella says Captain Fanta is such a great album. It's the best album cover I've ever seen, I think. DHTJH, okay man, I'm jelly, LOL. Hotel California, yeah, Glenn Fry signed that. Fraser J. John, you really need to set up all those toms. I know Chase is going to do it. Bella, oh. Rockchild in the 60s, Perfect Ceiling. Selena, hi all. What is the feed about? Just talking about random music. Bella, Madman. I've got 2 Madmans autographed, because Madman's the first album I ever bought. And I've got the first album I ever bought as well. I've still got it. Like, I've got it. I can dig. John, you should have done separate videos just for this. A house tour. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do another one. The greatest goalie ever, El Terrifico. Yeah, he's. I've got a Jacques Plante mask painted the way Bernie Parent had it painted for the Philadelphia Blazers. Oh my God, this is the worst lighting in the world. Anyway, that's a little better. And I've still got my Jacques Plante mask. I've still got my goalie equipment. It's just crazy. You know what? I want to see if this is how pathetic I am. I can't get rid of my goalie equipment. It's just a thing, man. You know, I haven't played goal in, hold on. Where is it? Oh, there's my goalie pads. Look at, I still have my goalie pads. Look at this. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. I still got them. And I don't know where my goalie mask is. Oh, look at this. One of my favorite shows. I asked Gary Sandy, who played the program director, if he wanted to do an interview, but he never got back to me. So it was worth a shot. So there you go. Those speakers again, yeah, they're JBLs and they're really, really good. They're very, very boomy. Someone was asking me about this the other day. This is actually an RDAT. Let me see. Yeah, this is an RDAT. And this is a brand new one. It's a format that really didn't take off that well. But, hold on, I'll show you. See, you open it. Comes out like that. Hold on, see? Just a little, isn't that cool, eh? This is a very expensive machine. When I was doing well one day, I bought it. It's just a Sony receiver, Sony cassette. They're really, really quite good. The RCA is just a piece of crap. But one day I'll take you through the collection. Yeah, albums I was just listening to. The Arrows. I just bought that from the Value Village, or a Canadian band. A brand new copy that was wrapped up until about 6 months ago from the old days. This is not a Blue Moves Elton John. And another one I've been revisiting in the last few days is Chicago 10. I really like that album quite a bit. But I'm gonna make a video solely of this stuff. I have multiple copies. See Burton Cummings' My Own Way to Rock. I have multiple copies of that because I like it. Canadian albums, if I find them. Look at this, for instance, for Stephen Bishop, I've got 3 versions of Careless because I like the album so much. And when I see it for sale, I'll still buy it. Those are albums that I'm probably going to give away or sell. I was given them by a friend. Oh, I did a lot of yard work, so I'm sore. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. I've always wanted to do that. I keep forgetting to do it. So, any more comments? Because I've got 8% power. Who said Affleck? Philadelphia Blazers. You got to love the old WHA, yeah. We played a lot of hockey in Boston. Oh, yeah. I was a big Jerry Cheevers fan, of course, as well. But I have a Gilles Gilbert, speaking of great goalies, you know, when they had that series, the Flyers and Boston had that series, and it was Bernie Perron against Gilles Gilbert. I'm going off topic. I'm not talking about rock and roll. That was still, that just, I felt bad for Gilles Gilbert because I thought he was such an underrated goalie. He was kind of like a slightly, sort of a version of Mike Palmatier from Boston, from Toronto, where, you know, you can't win for losing because you're in a bad situation. Boston was a good team then. Oh yeah, Jerry C, you have a lot of, I love the Sony. A lot of the old silver-faced Sony amps, I think they're maybe from the early 80s, are actually very underrated. I mean, listen, I'm like anybody else. I want a G9000 Sansui receiver. Some people say they're overrated. I don't think they are. I think they're great. And I want L100 JBLs. By the way, Henry Gross, the guy who's saying Shannon and Springtime Mama, he has L100s, he told me. And he says that he's going to be buried with them. Spacey, you have the Asia. I've got the Boston picture disc. And I've got a single man picture disc. I think that's the only two I have left. I have two single man Elton John picture discs. And I have one Boston, the debut album. That's all I've got left. Oh, it's Paul, sorry, yeah. Rangers 2, Tampa 1, second period. Thank you. JD, Elton John Blue Moves. What a beautiful, sorry seems to be your hardest word. Yeah, gorgeous. The bass on that's pretty. Gus Dudgeon did a great job. Anyway, there you go, guys. I wanted to share that with you. I'm really glad I did. And one day we'll just have, by the way, the wall that I have in New Brunswick that my mother has is going to be placed right there behind the kit. It's going to be right there. It's all black light. It lights up. And oh yeah, someone was asking a while ago. That is the last version of the Beatles. There you go. My father-in-law gave me those. You know, you walk into a grocery store and you bid on these things, and I didn't really want. I wouldn't have bought them myself, but they look nice. You know, they actually made the room look quite nice. So I'm glad I could share this with you guys. And Shannon's doing her crossword puzzle upstairs, and I'm going to bow out. For anyone who gave us super chats, thank you. I say especially thank you because there's never a guarantee with YouTube. You never know what you're going to get. You never know how well you're going to do in a certain month. So when someone gives us a super chat donation, we say thank you. Thank you. And you can always, with any video, if you ever feel like it, I know times are hard, so listen, we don't ask very often. But most of the videos we have up, you can send a donation if you ever want to, but you don't have to, or buy a t-shirt. All three of our channels have beautiful t-shirts. But anyway, love you guys. Thank you very much for indulging me, especially downstairs here in my little room. Everyone seems to love it. When we have workers come down here to help us do stuff, they'll always say, oh my God, what the heck? Because we don't say, hey, come down and look at my room. We would never say that. But since this is the topic of this channel, someone asked a while ago, what's the most valuable on this wall would be Zeppelin 4. I would think autographed by Jason Bonham and Robert Plant, John Paul Jones, and Jimmy Page. I would think that's... We've got some people up here who are dead, but I would think that's probably the most. And maybe Boston's debut album with Tom Scholz and Brad Delp. I don't know. I guess. I can't tell. I don't know. And someone asked also a few videos ago, do I have any Cars autograph stuff? I do not. No. So there you go. Love you guys. Take good care. We're going to finish it up tonight. And if any news breaks over the weekend, you know, I'll be there.